All right, section 5.5, we're learning about congruency statements and congruence. So congruence means the same. So a congruent figure is two figures that have the same shape and the same size. So you'll want to pause your video and write down that vocab word. So starting off with our first problem, we're going to write congruency statements, and we're going to write congruency statements for the angles and for the sides. Okay, so how we do this is you're going to have to look at the angles and the sides, and notice how like side SR has one mark, that's called the tick mark. It goes with the side over here that has one mark, so KM. Okay, so sometimes you have to try to visualize these rotating. So these two shapes are the same, but they're not rotated in the same direction. So sometimes you have to visualize the triangle or the shape rotating into a different direction. So in order to write the congruency statements, we're going to start with the sides. So we're going to do side KM. So here's how you write this. KM. And that little line above there would mean like side or line segment. And we're going to say is congruent. So here's how you draw a congruent symbol. It's an equal sign with a little swirl at the top.
That looks like an N.
So KM is congruent. So if you look at KM and you look at the degrees of the angles, it goes from 94 degrees to 65 degrees. So we're going to go over here and do the letters from 94 degrees to 65 degrees. So RS. Okay, so if we do the next side, we would have KL. So we're going from 94 degrees to 21. So we're going to do the same thing on the next triangle. So 94 to 21 would be RQ. And then the last side would be LM. So 21 degrees to 65 would be QS. Okay, so that's a congruency statement with the sides. Now we're going to also do a congruency statement with the angles. So remember the symbol for angle is like a squished L or a greater than symbol. So angle K is congruent to which angle? Angle R. Angle L is congruent to angle Q. And angle M is congruent to angle S. Okay, so on the next one, this isn't a triangle. What's this shape called? Count the sides.
Pentagon.
Pentagon, correct. It is a polygon, technically. Polygon means like, that's the overall word for shape, but this specifically is a pentagon. Okay, so we're going to go through and do the same thing here. We're going to write a congruency statement for the sides and for the angles. So I'm going to start with AB. So side AB is congruent. So we're going to go from 95 degrees to 135. So it would be congruent to HI. Okay, and then we have side BC. So 135 degrees to 80. So that would be IJ. And then CD is going from 80 degrees to 100 degrees. So that's JF. And then two more. DE is 100 to 130, so FG. And then the last one, EA. Okay, so then we need to go through our 5 angles. So angle A is congruent to which angle? H. Angle B is congruent to angle I. Angle C goes with what?
J.
J. Angle D is angle F. And angle E goes with angle G. Yes.
On the last one, EA and IH is supposed to be GH.
EA 130 to 95.
I was gonna say, I thought.
Yes.
GH.
Sorry, this should be GH right here. So fix that if you need to. Okay, so now on the next one, we're gonna write a congruency statement involving the whole entire shape. So we did the angles, we did the sides, now we're gonna use all the letters around the shape. So this is a triangle, so I can just draw a triangle. And I'm gonna go in the alphabetical order. So I'm just gonna say triangle ABC is congruent. And then I need to use the same angle order. So A is a 90-degree angle. So which letter represents the 90 degrees on the second triangle?
Q.
Q. So I have to start with Q. So triangle Q. And then B is 25 degrees. So which letter do I have to use? R. And then I have just P left. So you have to make sure you put them in the same order. So we're going to do the same thing with this pentagon. I'm going to start with my 95-degree angle. So I'm going to go G, H, and then just go around. H, D, E, F. So then I have to do the same thing. Which one corresponds with 95? P. Then I have to go to 135 and then go around. So Q or O? Q. So I'm going to just go around. P, Q, M, N, O. Okay, so this is going to be important to pay attention to on the next problem because we're going to have to pay attention to what order the letters go in to know what sides match up with what. So now we're going to look at finding missing information. So solving for a variable that's missing. So it says that quadrilateral PQSR is congruent to quadrilateral WTUV. So that's going to be important to pay attention to. So the first problem on A, we need to find X. So X is located right here on side RP. So the first thing we need to do is look at what side corresponds with RP. So here's how I would recommend you do this. You go up here and you look at the 4 letters. So PQSR, RP is the 4th letter and the 1st letter. So look over here and look at the 4th letter and then the 1st letter. So it would correspond with VW. RP is the 4th letter and then the 1st letter. So go over here and you do the same thing, 4th letter and then the 1st letter. So it's going to correspond with VW, which is 12. So RP equals X plus 5, and we would set that equal to 12. Okay, and then how would I solve for x?
Subtract 5.
Subtract 5 from both sides. So x would equal 7. Okay, so now we need to look at finding y. Y is located right here on TW. And if you look at TW, that's the second and then the first letter. So if you go over to the other set of letters, you would have QP. Okay, so TW equals 6y. What does QP equal? 24. So 6y equals 24. So what would I do to solve for y? Divide both sides by 6. Y would equal 4. Okay, so now we need to find z. Where is z located? It's on angle V. So what is angle V congruent to?
R.
Angle R. So angle V says it's 11z, and that would be equal to angle R, which is 132. So then I would divide by 11. So I get z equals what? 12, yeah. Okay, so I would like you to pause your video and try to find A, B, and C. All right, so finding A corresponds with WX. So if you look at your letters, WX would correspond with KL. So A plus 8 would equal 24. So I would subtract 8 and get A equals 16. Finding B is located on ML. So ML corresponds with YX. So 6B would equal 30. So I would have to divide by 6, and I would get B equals 5. And then C corresponds with angle J. And angle J is congruent to angle V. So 5C would equal 85. And I would divide by 5 and get 17
Yes.
degrees. Okay, so your assignment is page 224 and 225, and that stands for odd.